Tonight's 5:30 Focus, we're taking a closer look at the quick-changing landscape of our community. Palm Beach County, as many of you know, experiencing rapid growth with major investments in reshaping West Palm Beach and the surrounding county.
Billions of dollars are now going into new developments, infrastructure, schools, and hospitals. And the face of the West Palm Beach skyline is changing by the day. As
we're about to show you, a big part of that expansion is being led by the area's most ambitious developer, Stephen Ross. You may know him as the owner of the Miami Dolphins. He talked to us recently about his vision and his plans to turn our community into a model for the rest of the nation.
Look at this, you got the whole view.
Looking out the window of his downtown office, Stephen Ross is pointing out just a few of the many projects his development company, Related Ross, is bringing to life.
The old church was there. That's going to become Italy. And the ceilings are like 55 feet high. When you go in there, it's really going to be an exciting place, and all the retail around it.
His firm has invested nearly $10 billion in dozens of projects that will expand Related Ross's already massive footprint and forever change West Palm Beach and the neighboring region.
He's such a dynamic person and wanting to really move things forward.
To help make it happen, Eric Szilagyi has just joined Ross's firm as the new vice chairman.
We have essentially restored power to all customers who are affected by those counties.
If Szilagyi looks familiar, he spent 2 decades as chairman, president, and CEO at Florida Power and Light.
With Eric on board, we have a sales job to do to let the rest of the world know what's here and what the opportunities are. And it's going to be fun. And
I chuckle because I think the answer is yesterday. Steve is not a patient person.
I'm too old to be patient.
For Szilagyi, the expectations aren't just high, they're sky high.
All he cares about is winning. And as a coach, that's all you are literally looking for.
While Ross is best known as the owner of the Miami Dolphins, his winning spirit is what helped him to build his multi-billion-dollar empire in real estate development.
I saw the opportunity of growth here and knowing I had to assemble a team.
As a new part of Ross's team, Szilagyi will work to attract new business to the area to help fill the Ross portfolio's 9 downtown office buildings. Some are newly renovated existing buildings like Phillips Point, located on the city's prized intercoastal. More impressive are the high-rises still in development, including One Flagler, and the new City Place towers that include 1 million square feet of workspace and housing. The goal is to make West Palm Beach a major business hub with finance, healthcare, and tech companies moving in.
You see people leaving California or looking to leave California because you can see what growth those have left, where they've gone mostly to Texas, Tennessee, Nashville, North Carolina. But certainly Florida, to me, was a better landing place, or will be a better landing place for most of those companies.
Ross's first major investment in West Palm Beach was the construction of City Place, later transformed into the Square, an entertainment and residential hub. It's currently being remade with even more retail and housing. Ross has already lured Vanderbilt University, backing a $520 million campus for computing and innovation, and he's now investing $600 million in healthcare, including a new hospital. All of these changes are not just here in West Palm Beach.
Many people don't realize that Palm Beach County is one of the largest counties in America.
Developer Related Ross submitted a letter of interest to buy this land. The company wants to transform it into what will be called Wellington Village.
Out west, Ross believes the opportunities are boundless. Szilagyi says he'll focus on attracting major industries, particularly technology. As the county rides a wave of corporate relocations, they'll add more schools, housing, and infrastructure.
This is not a well-kept secret at all. We are looking to bring companies here to, for their future expansion.
But even as businesses rush to set up shops, concerns remain about the county's infrastructure, housing, and congestion.
We know congestion, that's the first thing people want to complain about. So we're dealing with all those type of issues and kind of like taking the lead on it.
The transformation is underway to make sure that the growth is smart growth.
As Ross and Szilagyi sell their vision of Palm Beach County as America's next economic powerhouse, one thing is certain: the buzz is building. While Related Ross pushes forward on these major projects, they are hardly alone. A new $82 million 8-story mixed-use building is being constructed by Woodfield Development. Palm Beach County is even building 22 new apartment complexes. That doesn't include the thousands of new residences, office towers, and retail hubs already in the pipeline by other developers.
A major catalyst for growth is building a new Vanderbilt University campus in downtown. Vanderbilt's presence is projected to have a $7 billion economic impact over 25 years and create 35,000 new jobs. Last fall, both the city and Palm Beach County unanimously approved the donation of 7 acres of public land to build the new campus. The $520 million development will house the Owen Graduate School of Management. It will offer graduate programs in finance, business, AI, and data science, and more. Plans also include a state-of-the-art innovation hub aimed at fostering collaboration among startups, investors, and academia.
I think it's phenomenal. It's going to be a game changer for West Palm Beach and Palm Beach County, and in fact, our entire region.
Vanderbilt has not given a date when it hopes to open the school. Our I-Team Chief Mike Magnoli is joining us now. He's looking into why more and more corporations are relocating here.
Yeah, and Mike, over the years, we've had a lot of big companies come here and make this their new home base. What's the attraction?
Well, it's a couple of things, right? It's the tax climate, it's our vacation climate, the fact that we stayed open during the pandemic. The companies are coming here, but the tricky part is getting them to stay. That's because, as you guys know, the housing market very tricky right now. It's expensive to live here, and having office space in the downtown area also very pricey. So as much potential as we have, there are also some challenges that need to be addressed.
Clematis Street in downtown West Palm Beach is in a transition period. The fact is, lots of space is available for lease because the businesses that were here left. But let's look at 4 companies who've made headlines when they moved into town.
It was sort of Boca to Jupiter was sort of the area where we were looking in, and then we found this place, and it was a quick decision for us.
Brad Sates started his company Gummy Works 6 years ago. They make chewable vitamins. Brad says they looked at Massachusetts as a possible spot for expansion, but they chose West Palm Beach because of tax incentives and the assistance from the county's Business Development Board. Brad says by the end of this year, he expects to add 200 employees, and that'll bring the total for Gummy Works to nearly 400 employees. They've been manufacturing and shipping gummies from West Palm since last January.
What I really enjoy is pulling up to the facility every day, and obviously coming from a WeWork where I started the company, 100 square feet to 100,000 square feet, but walking through the facility and seeing the people and the jobs and the careers that we're creating.
In 2021, Ideal Nutrition chose an office on Australian Avenue in West Palm Beach as corporate headquarters, and the company has grown a lot since its inception in 2016. They've opened 4 storefront locations in Palm Beach County, in addition to their online deliveries. And their distribution facility and commissary kitchen are also located in the county. Back in 2010, Hotel Planner, a hotel deals booking service, moved to West Palm Beach from California. Then the company outgrew its first office space, so they moved to the PNC Bank building at 205 Dartura Street. That was in 2015. But for a lot of companies, having office space in downtown West Palm Beach can get expensive. So for Hotel Planner, there's a move in the very near future. But the good news is they're not going far at all. Hotel Planner is staying in Palm Beach County, but they'll come a little bit north up here to Gardens, and they'll call the Oakbrook Center their new home. Back here on Clematis Street, My Bamboo, a financial technology firm geared to the Hispanic market, set up its corporate headquarters in 2021. Right now, they have about 20 job listings. FAU, Palm Beach State College, and potentially a West Palm Beach campus of Vanderbilt University means that companies have a pool of recently educated and eager workers, but where they'll live once they land jobs is a concern. Palm Beach County's elected leaders say that building more affordable housing is a priority. And first jobs out of college typically don't sustain million-dollar condos like the ones popping up in North Palm Beach County.
And that's really the ticket when the I-Team is engaging county commissioners and business leaders, and we're talking about rapid growth. We also have to have the conversation about smart growth.
Mike, I get the impression you could have kept going with the companies that are relocating here.
Sure, there's a lot of them, and we want to see them, keep coming here. But the question is, where do the folks live, okay? Because it's great to land a job out of college at one of these companies, but are they going to be staying in a $1 million condo? No, Jim. So that's a big hurdle that needs to be addressed not just by county leaders, but by the business community as well.
All right, we'll stay on that.